Welcome to a Holy Mess podcast. All right, my friends, we all know life can be so difficult and painful at times, especially when we're carrying grief or loss or wrestling with shame about our past, anxiety about our future, or frankly, like we are just not enough. But there has to be so much more for us. There is hope and joy, peace, love, fun, purpose, and a reason that you, my friend, are on this planet. Let's partner with God so you can be who He created you to be as you wrestle through and trudge through your mess. Hi, I'm Dani, a recovering alcoholic, a mom, a wife, a mentor, and dust. We are only here for a moment. Let's live like it. I'm just like you. I'm a holy mess most days. Actually, every day. Let's have some fun and laugh while trudging through our mess. This stuff doesn't need to be dry and boring. Let's dig in.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the podcast. Oh man, you guys, I am so grateful that you are here. I'm so grateful to be here with you. So I was journaling and I was writing this morning, and I'm trying to create some new content, fresh content for the podcast. And I'm just feeling alive again. I just feel this drive and this pull more and more into this work. And I never want to take for granted the opportunity to journey with you and for you to take the time to listen to these episodes. And so this year, we are going to continue to up level, hopefully, the content and continue to have great guests and maybe expand that out a little bit more into this year. But my heart is really to just help empower you to live the best life you can. And I know some of us have been handed a deck of cards that we may not have chosen, or maybe we made some choices in life and now we're living with the consequences and we're just trying to figure this life out. And especially for those of us that look really good on the outside, but inside we're struggling, man, I'm hoping that this podcast and this content, and if you decide to jump into one of my group coaching programs, that it helps you. And that's my heart. That's the goal. And that's why I got into this life transformation work in the first place. Well, actually, I became an accidental life transformation coach when my own life fell apart. And so anyways, I'm really grateful you're here. I hope that this quick encouragement episode encourages you. We're going to be back and dropping more of those as well. Okay, so like I said, this is one of those quick encouragement episodes, and I have a quote for you. Actually, I have a couple of quotes for you. I have a verse, I have a song, and then I have some thoughts that I wanted to share. And actually, this quote is my quote. I journaled it this morning and I thought, you know what? I'm going to write that down. That's a good one. Okay, so here's my quote for you. And then I'm going to share a Mike Tyson quote later on in the episode. But this morning when I was journaling, I wrote down, become who you came here to be. And you guys, I believe that we were all born with this destiny and purpose. And hear me out on this. We all have different giftings, right? Like God gave you a specific set of giftings and also a specific set of experiences and life to live and all of that, right? We're all unique in that way. The issue is that so many of us are beaten and battered by life with all of these different things in life that harm us and that hurt us. And I believe those things turn into what I like to call inhibitors from truly experiencing more joy, peace, truly experiencing like the essence of who we truly are at our core and really experiencing even the presence of God. I think that these things that harm us in life, they can act as inhibitors from us even experiencing God or our creator, right? And I think it can also keep us from our rich like soul purpose on this planet. And you guys, here's the thing, the drama and the trauma that we've endured in life, sometimes those are the very things that keep us stuck and feeling like we're just swimming in misery. And you guys, some of us, these inhibitors, these things that are blocking us, they're maybe child abuse stuff that we never really dealt with, or maybe we did deal with, but they just keep coming up, and different forms of child abuse, right? That maybe some of us have endured, or different betrayals in life. You know, if you've been betrayed in business, oh my gosh, it's awful. We've walked through that and are healing from that. You know, different things, being betrayed by a significant other or by a parent or by a dear friend or by someone at church. Oh my gosh, like betrayal can just be haunting, right? Or some of us, we struggle like, oh man, I took the wrong road. I took the wrong path. And then we hold that against ourselves. Like we say, like, if I only went down this one different direction, if I made this one different decision, or if I didn't marry this person and I married this other person, my whole life would be different, right? And we live in this fantasy of what could have been or what should have been, right? The list goes on and on, okay? And you guys, these things, these harmful things that have hurt us, they stack up and they add up. Mike Tyson, which I never thought I'd quote Mike Tyson on my podcast, but hey, who knows? Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they're punched in the mouth. And that's really what has happened to a lot of us. We're punched in the mouth or the face repeatedly, figuratively, of course. And if it's actually happening, get out of that relationship. We don't need to stick around in any form of abuse and abusive relationships. But, figuratively, when we're punched in the gut or punched in the mouth over and over again, it knocks us off our game. Of course it does. Like, who wouldn't be knocked off their game? And it's exhausting. You guys, and sometimes when we hit this phase in life where we realize, like, there's just been a lot of hard things that we've walked through. And maybe it's not just one thing. You can't even pinpoint it. It's like nailing Jello to the wall. It's a lot of things, right? Several small blows. And I believe that as we go through life, when these small blows add up, or big significant ones, along the way, somehow we lose ourselves. Like, we lose who we are. We feel like a stranger to ourselves at times, especially when we've become accustomed to prioritizing everyone and everything over ourselves. Of course, we've become a stranger to ourselves. And honestly, guys, some of us, we don't even know where to begin. So let me just tell you, if that's you, hang tight. I've got some hope for you, I hope. But I just want you, number one, to know that you're not alone. Like, you're not the only one that feels like a stranger to themselves. You're not the only one who doesn't know how to prioritize yourself. Like, you've been taught or conditioned to prioritize everyone else. I mean, even in Christian communities, frankly, a lot of us in Christian communities have been taught and told, put everybody else first and your needs, don't matter, right? That's harmful. And I don't think it's healthy. And again, like, even if our life looks pretty good from the outside from everybody else, but on the inside, we just feel a little bit stuck or lost. Guys, that was my experience. I didn't even know myself. Sure, I knew where I lived and I knew what I thought defined myself and I knew what I thought about myself, like all these negative, oh my gosh, I just had this negative narration of like all the things I should have been, all the things I should have done, or this wouldn't have happened if I would have protected myself in this way, or X, Y, or Z, right? I held myself accountable for everything, things that I didn't even have control over. But you guys, these things that have happened to us and even the choices that we've made, like, that's not the essence of who we are. And you guys, I had no clue who I really was. And honestly, I didn't even know what I really wanted. I remember literally, you guys, when I got sober, my mentor asked me, like, what's your favorite candy bar? Like, a very simple question. And this may seem ironic or crazy to you, but I didn't even know what my favorite candy bar was. I knew my mom loved Almond Joy and my brother loved Kit Kat, so I'll love one of those. And she was like, no, Dani, what do you like? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, that was how distant I was to myself. And maybe you're like, hey, I know what candy bar I like. Maybe I'm not that distant from myself. But you guys, I just want you to know, no matter what you're wrestling with, no matter what you're feeling, no matter what you're holding against yourself or what has happened to you, like, there is a way through it. And listen, I am not a name it, claim it. You guys know that. I will never over spiritualize anything. I think that life is hard and suffering is part of it. I think Jesus is with us, but he's not a cosmic vending machine and doesn't just deliver us from everything. And it's not as simple as, we've been sold and told that it is. Like, say this prayer and follow these 3 steps and abracadabra, you're going to feel better. Like, it just doesn't work like that. And I've said this 100 times on the podcast. If I've said it once, I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in all of that, but I also believe in the process of healing and not just the outcome of being healed, right? So I believe we are given this opportunity and this invitation into finding more wholeness and healing on our journey. You guys, and I know I'm not naive to the fact that a lot of us, if you're listening to my podcast, you've probably tried all the therapy or the different types of therapy. You've probably read a lot of books and done the Bible studies, and they were all great and helpful, but we want more, right? Like, we want to get to the truest place within ourselves. We want to find our truest selves. And I believe in therapy. Oh my gosh, I'm in therapy. I love my therapist. He's amazing. I read all the books. I do the Bible study, like all of those things, right? But sometimes we just need a little help tying it all together. And again, for me, it comes back to figuring out who I want to be and who I'm supposed to be on this planet. So here's the scripture I want to talk with you guys about. It's from Psalm 139, verses 13 to 14. It's 2 of my favorite scriptures. It's, for you created me in my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And you guys, some of us, we need to almost say that over and over again. And we need to remember that God actually knit you together in your mother's womb. He gave you certain giftings. He gave you a certain capacity for life, capacity in certain giftings. And he gave you your eye color and your skin color and all of that stuff, right? And it's our job to figure out how to steward ourselves. I was just chatting with someone yesterday who is pretty extroverted, but when he's around people too often, he flares up and he gets angry and he's got a very high intense job. He's intense all day. And then he gets home and he doesn't like that he yells at his kids and his wife. And he hates that about himself. And I totally get it. And so we're working through different strategies and tools to get to the root of what is causing that reaction, right? Because he wants to be more responsive and not so reactive and feel like he's always boiling over. And so we talked about different strategies to build in more time for himself. The poor man gets zero time to himself unless when he's sleeping, right? And he does work out in the morning as well, but he's in meetings all day long. He's with people, even on his drive home. He's on the phone and then he walks in the door and it's like, here's the kids, here's, and his wife. And so of course he has no margin, right? Now that doesn't excuse his explosive behavior by any means. And he's not trying to excuse it. He's trying to find some healing and find some margin and some patience with his kids and his wife. So we just talked about, hey, maybe you just need to go on a walk when you get home, like park the car and you just go on a 15 to 20 minute little walk, do some breathing, get your mindset and your heart right, and just spend some time with yourself, say a prayer, and then maybe you'll be re-energized to be able to encounter the evening. You guys, some of us, we are just way over bandwidth. Like we are just trying to do all the things because that's what we've been told we're supposed to do. And we're good little soldiers. So we're just doing it. And we've never learned how to prioritize or how to take care of our souls. I wish they taught us this stuff in school, but they don't. And so now here we are, decades later, trying to learn how to really take care of ourselves. You guys, and I know a lot of us, like we want to like ourselves. We want to even love ourselves, but we don't even know where to begin or how to do that. Not to mention the religious guilt we carry anytime we prioritize ourselves or our soul or self-care, or even the thought of like loving ourselves. Sometimes that feels wrong, right? And it's because of the religious guilt that we carry. It's a whole thing, like this whole religious shame and guilt and spiritual abuse thing, like it's a whole thing. And some of it, I really have realized it's just straight up spiritual abuse, like call it for what it is. And I'm not blaming people. Like I think people are doing this stuff with great intentions. It's by no means every church, but some churches, it's just the language they use. And I want to just say, if you've endured some shameful language from the church or from Christians in the church, like, I'm sorry you've endured it. I mean, it's BS, honestly. And that's not the way Jesus intended it to be. Yes, now I'm fired up. Can you tell? Okay. Took me way too long to break out of that shame and guilt cycle. And that happens when we've been wounded in the church or by Christians or, and just the thought of others being still so affected, it honestly, it infuriates me. It's like one of those things that's like burning my soul. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I become a really healthy solution to the issue and not just pile on more issues about the issue, right? Like there's a fine line to walk, right? And so that's what I feel like one of my small missions on this planet is to do, is to help people like get back to the essence of who God created them to be and get back to the essence of God and of connecting with their creator who loves them and adores them. And sometimes it's hard for some of us to hear that because we don't feel that way because of life and what we've endured and even the things that we've done. And so, man, first of all, I just want to give you a virtual hug and tell you I love you. And I'm proud of you for continuing to show up for yourself the best that you know how. I also want to invite you guys to come to my free workshop. It's my first public free workshop ever. I've never done this. I do it within my community and my groups all the time, but I'm throwing it out there to my podcast community. And I want to invite you to a free workshop next Sunday, January 21st. It's called Thrive Under Pressure. You guys, I'm breaking down some steps in this workshop to find some healing and to learn how to prioritize yourself and your needs and your healing. And how do you do this day in and day out for yourself? You guys, we're in 2024 and obviously I'm fired up and I don't want to waste another moment on the struggle bus. I don't want you to waste another moment on the struggle bus. I'd love to have you join me live for that workshop. Again, the workshop is next Sunday, January 21st. I don't know when you're listening to this episode, But whenever you're listening to this episode, click through to the show notes and sign up for the workshop. Even if it's after the fact, there will be a replay, but you want to show up live. I'm going to be doing some giveaways, and it's going to be a really fun hour together. I'm even giving away a scholarship to my group coaching program, the Feel Better Journey. But you guys, I just want you to know more than anything that you're not alone and that I am committed to doing all I can to equip and empower you to walk through your life the best you can with the cards that you've been dealt. And the song that I want to leave you with today is by Andy Grammer. You guys, I'm obsessed with this guy. I'm obsessed with his songs. And I'm not obsessed with him, not in a creepy way, but I'm obsessed with his songs. I literally every morning, I dance a little bit to his music. Like it's just very good for my soul. And this song is called Fresh Eyes. And I think he's talking about a woman, but maybe his wife, I hope. But here's what I wanted us to listen to the song. And there'll be a link to it in the show notes for iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. But here's a couple lines from the song that is just so powerful. Andy says, "Suddenly I'm in love with the stranger." And I want you to look at this song like you're singing it to yourself, or like it's almost like an anthem or a prayer to yourself. So Andy says, "Suddenly I'm in love with a stranger." And I talked about it earlier, you guys. Some of us, we feel like a stranger to ourselves. And sometimes we need to get reintroduced to really who we are and our essence and our soul. And that's my goal for you in 2024. That's my goal for this podcast, is to help you learn to prioritize yourself and learn to thrive through the hard things in life. Okay. Andy goes on to say, "Now all I see is you with fresh eyes." And that's my prayer for you guys, that you can see yourself with fresh eyes. Andy goes on again to say, "Appreciation, well, it comes and it goes. Well, I ride that wave with you. It's human nature to miss what's under your nose." You guys, you are with you. You are under your nose for your whole life. And there are good and great things within you that some of us are missing because of the crap that's been thrown at you. And you guys, I first of all, I want to acknowledge the grief or the trauma or the drama that you've endured. But also, I want to also have us all acknowledge there are really good things that God has made you to be. There are really good things in you. Those giftings are still there. Sometimes you just need someone to kind of breathe life into you and to help you unpack what's inhibiting you so you can enjoy life again. Some of us forgot what it was like to enjoy life. And so that's my goal for 2024. I hope you guys are on board, because that's where we're going. So anyways, I'm so grateful you're here. I hope this episode blessed you. Again, sign up right now, click through to the show notes and sign up for Thrive Under Pressure, the free live virtual workshop next Sunday, January 21st at 2 p.m. Pacific. Either click through the show notes or go to www.danisumner.com, DANISUMNER.com/Thrive Under Pressure, THRIVEUNDERPRESSURE. All right, you guys, I'll see you in a few days. I'm so grateful you're here. I love you. Enjoy the song. Enjoy that verse. And after this episode ends, pause, say a little prayer, put your hand on your heart, and remember to become who you came here to be. God's got you, and I'm with you. All right, love you guys.
Hello, my friend. If this episode blessed you, made you laugh, or triggered you, hey, that's growth. Please do me a favor and share this with a friend. And if you feel led, please leave a written review for the show. That really helps us out. Don't forget, you are in good company if you're feeling more broken than you'd like to admit. And you are more loved than you can ever imagine. Have a great week. See you next time.